Welcome to the Elise Tzurkov podcast. Here, I help women in perimenopause and menopause thrive unapologetically from the inside out. Each week, we dive into candid conversation and expert insights designed to navigate the unique challenges of this stage of life so you can feel stronger, more confident and at home in your body. Let's dive in and start thriving together. On today's episode, I'm going to talk a little bit about something that comes up all the time in the gram and on the social spaces: habits versus hormones. This is the forever ending, never ending debate of which is more important. Is it my habits that I'm doing every day, or is it my hormones? And well, I'm just going to give it away. It's a little bit of both. And you've probably already figured that out. But if your habits suck, I'm guessing that you're going to blame your hormones. And if your hormones are amazing, then I'm going to guess that you're going to blame your habits, even though your hormones probably are not quote unquote amazing, but your doctor told you that they are. So let's dig in a little bit and debunk a few things. So, first and foremost, what are your habits? Let's be real for a second. What do you believe to be true that is not? What do you believe you're doing every single day that is not working towards your goals? For example, I have a lot of women that come to me and they say, I barely drink. And I'll say, awesome. What does barely drinking look like? And they're like, 2 to 3 glasses a week max. And I'm like, okay. But for someone else, saying they barely drink is like, I maybe drink on holidays, maybe, on a vacation. And other women are like, I barely drink maybe once a year. So it is very subjective. Your habits are subjective, and what you think might not be affecting you could likely be affecting you. I've had women tell me that alcohol can't possibly be a factor because they only have a couple drinks a week. They only have it when they go out with their friends, and they go out with their friends 2-3 times a week, and maybe they're not even having one cocktail. They're having 2 or 3 at a time. So your habits are going to 100% affect how your hormones are optimized as well, but is also going to affect what your waistline is saying about you. So, what are your habits? How do you wake up in the morning? Do you wake up by alarm? Do you wake up on your own? Is someone kicking you awake? What time do you get out of bed? Are you rested? And what are your habits in the morning? Do you scroll on your phone immediately? Do you make a cup of coffee and relax and do some gratitude writing like I do? Are you a morning gym person? Do you dive into work right away? What are your habits looking like? Do you emotionally eat? Do you snack all the time? You might not even realize what you're doing. A lot of women will say to me, I am such a good eater. And I'm like, okay, tell me more. And then I'll hear, yeah, I eat really great meals. I cook all my food. And I'm like, awesome. Tell me more. And then I hear, well, everything's great up until about the afternoon. And then I get really hungry and I just go, crazy in my pantry. And I'm like, cool, tell me more. What about the weekend? Oh, well, everything's great until the weekend. I always hear the until the blank. I was doing great until Friday hit. And guess what? Friday's going to hit every week. That's a habit. So when it comes down to it, your habits are defining how you show up for yourself every single day. Your habits can change, and likely they are continuing to change as you age and as you re-identify as a woman in perimenopause and menopause. Um, Maybe you used to drive your kids to school every day and now they're older and they take the bus. Or maybe they're driving your car to school and so you don't wake up as early. Maybe you used to make dinner for everybody, but now no one else is home except for you and your partner. And so you just order in more. Maybe you're starting to travel more. And so the habit is that when I'm traveling, I do what I want and eat what I want. But now I'm traveling all the time and it feels like I'm doing whatever I want all the time. And now nothing's working out for me. So when it comes down to it, your habits are going to reveal a lot about you, but you've got to get real with what your habits are. Now, on the flip side of it, it also has a lot to do with your hormones. So your hormones are changing. And no matter what your doctor says, your hormones will be able to tell a lot about you. And that's why we do love testing labs. We do like to see where estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, thyroid function really are falling. When we look at our hormones, we never use the word balance. Hormones really are never balanced. I always laugh when people say to me, how's your son's blood sugar? Is your blood sugar or his blood sugars balanced? And I'm like, what the fuck does that actually mean? If you've ever balanced quote unquote blood sugars, you know that you can't. It's not about balancing, it's about responding to. And it's a constant battle. So we never balance hormones, we optimize them. We make them as optimal as possible. If you want to think of another analogy, think of a symphony, an orchestra. Every single musical instrument is like a hormone. So you're not like, show me what the violin does and play the triangle one more time and give me a slam of the drum. And you don't really hear the symphony if every one hormone or one musical instrument is standing out. We need everything to play together. That is your HPA axis, is your hypothalamus, your pituitary, and your adrenal glands are all working together to produce this symphony of hormones in your body, adding in the sex hormones as well. So when we look at hormone optimization, it is super important that you remember that not one hormone is necessarily more important, but how they're all functioning together. And if you are messing up your hormones with your habits, for example, if you are a chronic dieter, an undereater, a yo-yo dieter, you are down regulating your hormones. Your thyroid isn't going to function as well. Your leptin, your feeling full hormone isn't going to be registering as well. And then over time, that's going to throw progesterone off too. Oh my God, goodbye progesterone. And now you're going to feel anxious and you think something's wrong with you and you go to your doctor and your doctor's going to put you on anti-anxiety meds. So when we look at it, our habits affect our hormones and our hormones 100% are going to affect our habits. If you don't have a optimally functioning thyroid and sex hormones, then it's going to be harder to say no to things. It's going to be harder to say no to the cake and the cookies. And it's going to be harder to say yes to exercise because you're going to feel lethargic and you're not going to want to move and you're going to feel like you're lazy and you're going to feel like you're failing when it's really your hormones that are working against you. So at the end of the day, we need to remember that our habits and our hormones are both responsible for where we are today in our life. So what do you do? When someone comes to me and they are like, I'm just feeling like I can't lose weight and I have no libido and I have no motivation and I cry all the time and I hate the way I look and I don't even want to be in pictures. And when I look in the mirror, I want to cry because I don't recognize myself. Okay, we've got a lot of work to do, but the good news is we've got a lot of work to do and there's a lot of things that we can change. So the very first thing is to dial in the basic 4 fundamental principles. First being nutrition. If your nutrition is not in check, watch out for hormones and supplements because as you change your diet, everything else is going to change. So, if you are drinking alcohol like a fish and you are eating processed foods 24/7 and you are snacking at your wazoo and you're stopping for takeout every single day, start there. Okay, dial in nutrition as a habit first. I love 3 meals a day. And I recognize that's hard for a lot of women because a lot of us might go from lunch to dinner, and that's a long stretch of time. So I will say 3 meals or 4 meals, or like 3 meals and a mini meal, but no snacking, meaning snacking as a verb. So if you can, build up your meals so that you're not making up for the nutritional deficits that you're trying to achieve from your meals in snacks. So I have a lot of women say to me, I eat so well and so clean. And then when I look at their food diary, I'm like, yeah, you had egg whites and spinach for breakfast, but you had, all these bars and rice cakes and peanut butter and hummus and veggies all afternoon when all you had to do was build up your meals and you wouldn't be eating that because you wouldn't be hungry. So please add in your meals at least 30 to 40 grams of protein, as well as fiber and something satisfying. And I promise you, it's going to be easier, 100%. And then throw a snack in. And before you ask me what kind of snack, I'm going to say consider it a mini meal. Same thing, a little bit of protein, a little bit of fiber, something yummy, healthy fats. Call it a day. Keep life simple, please. That's the first thing. nutrition. Number 2 is movement. If you are not strength training right now and you are complaining about your body in perimenopause, stop complaining and start lifting. 100% start there and then tell me in 6 months the difference that you feel. Okay. This is a non negotiable when you come into our program at FFWE. We have our 90-day for function hormonal renewal, and lifting weights and training is a non negotiable. If a woman came to me and said, I don't want to lift weights, then I'm like, totally respect you, but I cannot help you. If you want to know the answer to how do I feel better in perimenopause or over the age of 40, it is lift weights. You're not going to get bulky. You might be stronger than me, you might get bigger than me, you might not, but I got to eat a lot of food to put on the kind of muscle that I have on my body. So trust me when I say it's not going to happen to you, girl. Okay, it's going to be okay. And of course, when it comes to movement, you have to make sure that we're not overtraining. So the nonstop CrossFit and Orange Theory and F45 and all the things that you're doing, you're going to have to stop. Not all of them, but you can't do everything, my girl. So let's aim for strength training 3 to 4 times a week. If you want to add in some cardio, some CrossFit, some F45, that's fine. 1 to twice a week is good, but let's not overdo it. Okay. Number 3 is going to be sleep. Oh my God, this is such a catch-22 because so many women say to me, I can't sleep and therefore I'm tired and then I get wired and then I can't sleep. And I hear you. It is the hormones that are starting to change. Hence, your habits are starting to change. So here we are again with sleep being the issue. So first and foremost, remember that how our bodies respond, our physiology is starting to change. So your habits around sleep need to change as well. Get off your screens. Watch that blue light, especially before bed. Do you have strong sleep hygiene? Are you sleeping in a cool, dark place? Do you have enough time before bed where you are winding down? So I like to tell our clients to really set in place a really good bedtime routine. For most women, it is having to say goodnight to your kids and then get into bed and close the door and set some boundaries there, because we all know our kids love talking to us when it's 10 o'clock at night and we're trying to sleep. So if you're not sleeping well, then your hormones will not be functioning well, and then your habits will be out of place again. So really dive into that. And I will do a whole other episode on sleep because there's a lot to be said there. And then lastly, on this same note, is stress management. If you are living a lifestyle that puts you in survival mode 24/7, that's your problem. Don't even look at HRT. Don't even look at supplements. Don't even look at anything like Ozempic until you manage your stress. And don't say to me, but you don't understand. I do understand. I have a very high stress life myself. I've got 3 kids. I've got a child with high needs 24/7. I've got a business. I've got a home. I got it. I get it. We all live very stressful lives, but sometimes you're going to have to disconnect. You're going to have to set boundaries. You're going to have to find a way. My best advice when it comes to stress reduction for women in perimenopause is get into nature, get outside in the sunshine, take off your shoes and socks, walk barefoot on the grass, hug a fucking tree. I swear to you, when you connect with nature, nothing calms that nervous system down faster than when you are one with nature. Taking a bath is great. Having an orgasm is amazing. Go ahead and do that a few times a week. But whatever it is, dial in the stress. So as a reminder, dialing in your nutrition, your movement, your sleep, and your stress are going to be the 4 pillars that you're going to start before you get into anything else. This is how we start with our clients, and this is where I want you to start as well. So hopefully this was really helpful for you today. And just make sure that whatever you do, you be kind with yourself. You take some time and learn all that you need to learn slowly. I know there's a lot of information out there. So remember, just because it's working for someone else doesn't mean it has to work for you. Your body is different. Your body is unique. And you got to celebrate that. So thank you for joining me today. You can learn more about me and FFWE on Instagram and Facebook at functionallyfitwithelise.com or my website at functionallyfitwithelise.com. I got a lot of freebies on there. Go ahead and grab them. As a reminder, the information provided on this podcast is for educational and informational purposes only and not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified healthcare professionals with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition or health-related goals.